The dual disc is a dumb idea, but it's so cool and awesome, and I want like 5 for myself. What's up, Kohais? My name is Rex, and recently I've been thinking about the dual disc. The dual disc is a neat thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's really cool to see in the anime. In real life, however, not exactly. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course started off as a manga, which on top of that focused on a bunch of different games, and eventually was refined into an anime where they focused pretty much only on the Duel Monsters card game, and eventually that became a legitimate card game made by Konami. Bandai did make a version of it based off the anime when there were no rules, but then eventually it sort of solidified. Nowadays we think about Yu-Gi-Oh! As the card game more so, because that's sort of the most refined thing. But again, we do need to think of the dual disc and basically all kind of early things in Yu-Gi-Oh! From the perspective of the anime. Now, the dual disc was introduced during the Battle City arc for the purpose of being able to battle people in the city. It makes sense. Before, duels would take place either at a table with the actual legitimate cards or in certain fields where holograms would be able to be projected. In concept, the dual disc in the anime allows for 2 characters to be able to start a duel basically anywhere and kind of serve as the thing to scan the cards and project the holograms onto the field. And this works out really well because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a battle shonen. So you're gonna need to have some sort of way to make things a little more dynamic. If you have a dual disc, you're able to have this right here, your cards right up here, and the characters are able to stand up and face each other, which is a lot more exciting than like 2 characters standing at opposite ends of a very, very large battlefield at tables and this and that with holograms in between. That still looks cool with holograms, especially if we could get that in real life. But the dual disc is such a great idea for being able to stand up. Like, I recommend standing. I stand for all my videos because it allows you to get a lot more energy out there. It's healthier for you. I recommend you stand up right now and finish watching the rest of the video. But point is, there's also the fact that dual discs are insanely customizable, at least in the anime. We see different variations throughout the anime being used by different characters. As each series progresses, they get more and more not necessarily complicated, but unique, especially in the later versions of the show, starting with Zexal going into Arc V and even V-Reigns. Things are just so much more unique. Of course, things do get a little weird and different, but it's all good. It all comes down to the dual disc being very, very customizable from an anime point of view. Of course, the real life dual discs that we got were all basically kind of the same. Basically the original version of it. We didn't get to see any of the really funky ones from the anime made into real life. Again, because it was sort of around the 5Ds era that they stopped producing these dual disc toys. And again, unfortunately, that's why we don't see them being used a whole lot, because they're just that, toys. Because they were made during the time when like anime was very marketable. Anime is still very marketable now. I would argue even more so now. But during the early 2000s, late 90s, mostly early 2000s-ish or so, this was during the time of Pokemania, or a little bit after it, when anime, especially dubbed anime, shown on 4Kids and the Fox Box, as we all know, this is where it was very accessible to kids. And so, making toys and selling toys based off these properties made a whole lot of sense, the dual disc being one of them. And the reason you don't see people walking into a YCS with their dual disc getting ready to use it is because, again, it's just that. It's a toy. It doesn't exactly work very well. I mean, yeah, it can hold your cards, but it can't accommodate decks with sleeves. Things get very complicated, especially since, like, we don't have that hologram technology that they have in the anime, unfortunately. So you can't stand like 10 feet away from your opponent with everything all synced up and lay your cards here. You need to be very close to your opponent. You need to be at a table and have your card right in front of your opponent so that they're able to see what you're doing. Make sure you're not cheating. A judge can also be sitting there if they need to be. And should your opponent need to read any of your cards or get a good look at your field, it's a lot easier just to sit at a table. Again, like I said, I wish we could just waltz into tournaments. Everybody's got a dual disc. We all stand up. It's a lot healthier for our posture and a lot more epic because you can face your opponent just like this. And of course, nowadays with Link Monsters being a thing and you really need a field to be very grid-based, it's just not going to work out. Again, you know, maybe if Speed Duels pick up a lot more and we have Speed Duel exclusive tournaments or Speed Duel exclusive locals and stuff like that, then sure, go ahead, bring a dual disc. Unfortunately, they're not very easy to come by. I mean, I would love a dual disc, but I'd also like to buy groceries for a week or two. They are coming out with a new dual disc later this year, which costs a lot more than this, but it's a lot nicer as well. It can even accommodate cards in the sleeves. So it's going to be real fun to use, just a buddy-to-buddy thing. Unfortunately, it just really does not work out for the purpose that it's intended to. I mean, you know, it's mostly a replica thing, I suppose, and especially, like I said, the new one that's coming out later this year that looks really nice, it's mostly meant as a replica thing, as a cosplay prop, as a nice thing to own. It is compatible with the real-life card game on a conceptual level, but in practice, waltzing in with one of these into a YCS and expecting everybody to accommodate you isn't going to work out. And especially, again, if you're going to be the only guy there, which shout-outs to you if you're able to do that, and if you top. But everyone else is going to be sitting down. It's just not going to click with everybody else, unfortunately. So when it comes down to it, the dual disc is great and is beautiful in the anime. In real life, it doesn't really work out that way. Conceptually, there might be some ways to make something similar to this as technology progresses and things get a little better. I don't think we're going to be getting those really nice looking hologram duels anytime soon. There are some technologies and experimental things kind of going around that allow you to do something like that, but nowhere near the level of what's going on in the anime that warrants the dual disc to actually be made and worn by each player and competitor. But anyway, let me know what you think about the dual disc down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this mini little history about the dual disc and nostalgia reminiscing and wishing that we could just have something work out in real life like this, I guess. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you made it this far, then hey, thank you so much. Your support means a lot. If you've noticed, I've been kind of changing things up a bit. Going forward, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm probably going to be focusing more so on the anime. I've got maybe 1 or 2 deck profiles left in me, but if you're a long-time viewer, then you've probably noticed that I've taken a turn toward anime mostly, but I really want to just get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Not as a playing it, but appreciating it as a franchise, as an anime. And when things start up again with the anime in the next series, maybe it'd be nice to cover it that episode by episode. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see. Because I'm much more into anime now, and hey, what's one more anime added to the queue for an average week? But anyway, hey, checking out some of my other anime stuff on this channel means so much to me. Your support means so much, guys. Thank you so much for the response on the last video. That was great and amazing, and I shouldn't get too mushy with this update stuff. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to become one of those cosplayer guys or whatever. I don't know, man. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, leave a like. This has been Rex. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe so I can get a dual disc.